Where was I? Here we go.
We already got one thumbs down, and it's like, wait a minute.
Are you serious? We got a one thumbs down already?
We had 5 thumbs up and 1 thumb down. It's like, wait a minute. Well, usually we have a better ratio than that, don't we?
It must have been. Yeah, well, you don't think? Well, wonder what the thumbs down was for. I'm sure it was me.
Are you talking about? Are you talking about the previous show?
Yeah, the previous one.
Oh, okay. I was like, we've only been on the air for a minute.
It was just the one we did. It was like we already had a 5-1. It's like, wait a minute. That's,
Yeah. We are just waiting on George and Peter. So JR, I was telling Mike during the broadcast, I can mirror my tab. So if we're talking about a news article, I can do this, which is kind of cool. Which is I'm going to lead with this one when we start. So that's kind of cool.
Yeah, it's a pretty good idea. It'll help people follow what we're doing instead of just talking.
It helps for the video on the YouTube. I mean, audio people obviously can't see it, but still, I think that's kind
of one thing. No, I don't know if you have to worry about monetization with these, do you? Necessarily. Okay. All right.
When I hit 1,000 subs, I can make money, but
yeah. But it's one of those things where you got to be careful whether or not, because certain songs you can't play, certain, even if you kind of hum the lyrics and everything.
I worry about screenshots of the comic issues too. I did that in the last show. But
the thing is though, as long as you cite where the thing comes from, like if you credit it, it falls under the free use category.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just you can't. I mean, as long as you're using it for informational purposes, as opposed to just saying, "Oh, here's the whole work and everything." Like if you put like some kind of a credit by, and you put like whatever the artist's name and
I can't do that because I'm showing a tab.
Right. Okay. Right.
So,
yeah. But I mean, as long as you kind of, again, there's journalism stuff. I mean, as long as you cite your sources and everything, it should be good.
Right.
But yeah, I think it should fall under fair use.
Oh, Adam explains why we got thumbs down, JR. Jared didn't do his George impression. There you go. That's why we got a thumbs down.
Oh.
So I went up to the kitchen and got a little plate. And I got some sausage here. I got some cheese and some pickles.
Oh man. Yeah. You are making me so jealous now that it's
So Friday. I'm going to let you YouTubers in on something, and also my panelists. So in July, I started this keto diet where I killed all my carbs. I killed bread.
Smart.
I killed anything that's carby, bread, pizza crust, all that stuff. And you can replace it with meat and cheese and cottage cheese and stuff like that. I've lost 15 pounds since July 1. So it's working for me.
Yeah, because it's the carbohydrates that actually put, and not burning those off, that actually does put on the poundage and everything like this. That's something, that's something my dad has to. Old egg. Yeah, true. But no, but I mean that's good. Yeah,
there's George.
There he is.
I was like sitting there for like the longest time.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's like you're backstage, only the host can see, and you're like, so I started this keto thing, and I'm like, what the hell? What about here?
Yeah, you got to click on the thing to sort of.
This is a problem, George, in the fact that sometimes when I'm monitoring all this, a new person that comes to the chat is buried, and I have to scroll down to see your window. So I didn't even see you. Oh, here comes Peter. There we go.
Yeah, there you are.
Let me do that. There we go.
And he's in a different position.
I'm following my kids along.
Hey, JR's got the duck on his head. JR, move your camera to your left a little bit, and that duck won't be on your head. Oh, opposite of that.
Opposite way.
A little bit more. There you go. Oh, Can you move it some more? It's right on your forehead. You got a big S.
Hey, Brad, give me the duck since,
All right, hold on. Let me.
I don't give a duck.
You don't give a duck? Okay. Whoops. Oh.
Well, now I got the duck.
Now I got it. Okay, let me remove these around. Okay. Okay, now when I add Mike.
Yep.
And then JR and then George. Oh, nuts. I can't figure this out. How do I get the duck off Mike?
No.
Okay. And then here, let me add Mike. Yeah, there it is. Oh, damn it. JR's back up there.
The duck doesn't like me. I'm sorry, guys.
Okay, so now I'm going to add George. Now George has it. I'm just gonna have to keep moving it around until. Okay, hold on.
It's kind of like that. It's kind of like that puzzle where you have the missing piece and you have to move it around in the right spot.
So
sick. Just get everybody on there and just go forward.
Yeah, no kidding.
Damn it! I'm back to JR with the duck.
Just put the duck on me. It's fine.
Duck, goose. Here, I will. One last time, I'm going to remove JR and then add JR. Now George has it, but let me remove George and let me remove Mike. Let me remove me. Oh, it always puts me on the top since I'm hosting it. Okay.
The thing.
There's Mike. Oh, I may have gotten it. I may have moved it around. Damn it. All right.
I was like talking the whole time.
Well, when I take you out, I can't hear you.
Okay, well, stop. Okay, to get the duck off, I'm pretty sure you probably have to go like premium. You probably have to be paid.
I do. It's $20 a month to get the duck off.
Okay.
Boy, what an odd sentence, by the way.
Okay, we'll learn to deal with the duck. It's fine. Could you please stop shuffling us around like jackasses? You're making me sick.
Okay. So, I need to add my. Oh no, I've got it. Okay. All right, you guys ready?
Yeah.
Ready.
I'm going to lead with. Let me see who has this topic.
George has it, I think.
Oh yeah, the Abrams one.
The Abrams. Yes, George has it indeed. Okay, let me put this. Oh, I've already got that over in a window. Okay.
Hang on, I'm still updating. I just put updated Facebook. I got up
Facebook. Okay, thank you. Hello, 10 viewers. How are you? Get the duck out of here, says Adam. 3 hours later, duck, goose.
Goose, yeah.
George was like a kid left in a car while his parents went shopping.
Or like back in the 70s when your mom took you shopping for clothes, and back then that meant like trying on corduroy pants, and you thought that your mom hated you for that.
Adam, you're doing the keto diet, or you did it? How much pounds did you lose, if you don't mind me asking? Anybody done the keto diet?
Never had to.
No. Well, you skinny.
I've maintained the same weight since high school.
My metabolism and flipping you the bird. It's flipping you the bird.
Yeah.
The duck, if you will.
Yeah, right.
That's funny. Okay, let me know when you're ready. Oh, you lost 8 to 10 pounds. I started cheating and then blew it.
Oh.
What about the diet? No, I'm just kidding.
Oh God!
We've gone to that place.
Yeah.
Oh man! All right, we ready, George? You ready?
Yeah, we started already.
Yeah, we're on the air right now. All right, I will introduce everybody. Coming down 3, 2. Hey, Crawl Spacers! Welcome to our Spider News for this month. Let's introduce the panel. We've got George. What's going on, George?
Hi.
Yo. We haven't had you on Spider News in a while.
It doesn't seem like it's been that long to me.
I think like May, dude. I think it's been a minute.
It has not been May. It has not been May.
Okay. Gotta be May.
It has not since May.
McNulty,
Please.
Mike, what's going on, sir?
Well, as you can see, things have gotten a little bit darker now, and which would probably be fitting considering some of the news topics that I've been forced to cover.
Do you have the gravestone? Is that what you're referencing?
No, well,
What's
no.
your dark topic? What are you talking? No, I give
it has to do It has to do something. It has to do something with a certain character, which may or may not involve sharks.
Oh, Morbius. I got you.
Yeah.
I got you. Yeah. That topic sucks. Like a vampire.
Yeah.
And we have JR. What are you lighting up, sir? What's going on there?
Just laying back, sitting back, having a smoke,
What the duck?
What the duck? He's referencing the last episode where George smoked a pipe.
Sitting back. It's the second show or whatever, just having a good time.
Adam, JR is not firing up
This
the
may be
tube.
the episode
That is a
where
piece of
JR
paper with
keels
a
over.
fire starter.
Fire starter, yeah.
Oh my gosh!
If he
All
was
right.
in Washington State, it would probably be, that
Oh,
probably would be it.
And Chi-Town's over there folding laundry. What's going on, sir?
I'm doing my kids' laundry, folding it because I'm being a good dad, and
There
this
you go.
may be the episode where JR keels over if he lights up that thing anymore. We saw the Spider-Man push-up, and that came down there.
Oh yeah.
Spider-Man push-up nearly killed the old man. I mean, all right. So we've got a lot of topics. We've got some that are in the headlines, some that are buried deep in the internet that I pulled out that George and JR will moan and groan. So let's just get these out of here.
I'm pretty sure one of those links gives you a virus. By the way,
Yeah.
one of the ones that you're making JR cover. I didn't click on it. I was like, I looked at the website, the URL, and I was like, nope.
This from the man who put a dirty DVD for a review in his DVD player. Okay, George, you're leading. Did you trust Newsarama.com? Because that's where this one came from.
I mean, sort of.
So J.J. Abrams and his son are going to be writing a Spider-Man book.
Henry, the son has a name, Brad. Come on.
Henry, there you go. So tell me about this book, George.
Well, it's Spider-Man #1. It's written by J.J. Abrams and his son Henry Abrams, who I felt bad at first because when I watched the YouTube video, I was like, "Oh, look, it's like his high school son or something." No, this guy's like 21. And but yeah, watching the YouTube video, at least Mary Jane's going to be part of it. They at least understand that much. Either that or Nicola, or when J.J. Abrams went to Nicola and was like, "How do I Spider-Man?" Nicola was like, "Okay, so here's Peter, and he's with Mary Jane, and it's a big thing." And he's like, "Okay, Mary Jane, that's the blonde." And you're like, "No, that's J.J. She's a redhead. She's really cool." No, I don't know. Speaking of JR, how old are you exactly?
I'm not as old as I feel. I feel young.
Okay, are you older or younger than 58?
I am 56.
Okay, J.J. Abrams is 2 years older than you are.
Wow!
Whoa.
That's an old Spider fan.
And he's now writing Spider-Man. So every time you groan and you're like, "Oh, am I too old to review this?" Well, stop, because you're apparently not too old to write it either.
Well, didn't J.J. Abrams destroy JR's favorite franchise, Star Trek?
Well, we're going to talk about that.
It has nothing to do with Spider-Man.
It's still debatable if how much JJ is writing, how much Henry is writing.
No, so yeah, it's Peter, Mary Jane, and Spider-Man, and Spider-Man's fighting some kind of.
There he is, right there. If you're watching on the YouTube.
No, he's not. He's not fighting Miles Morales. He's fighting.
No, he's fighting some techno dude.
Oh, what is that guy called?
Cadaverous.
There you go.
Yeah, it looks like some kind of robot zombie thing. I don't know.
They look like aliens. I mean, come on. They look like the aliens.
I don't know if this is supposed to be an ongoing or limited.
I think it's limited series. Yeah. It might.
I didn't know if it was supposed to be like, it's going to be ongoing, and then J.J. Abrams is only on it for 3 issues, and then suddenly his son takes over for the rest of this, or something like that.
What's the 12-year-old that keeps popping up here?
That's Nick Lowe.
No, that's not Nick.
Yeah, it is.
No. I thought he was talking about JJ. I know that's Nick Lowe. I watched the
video.
I
thought that's what JR was talking about.
I thought he was talking about
the guy in the yellow shirt. He looks like he's 12.
Okay, no, that's Nick Lowe.
Does his mother know that he edits comics for a living or something?
Let George get through it, JR.
I'm done. I'm done anyway. J.J. Abrams and his son are writing a comic, and Sarah Pacelli's drawing it. There you go. Bam. That's your news.
All right.
I'm done.
So here is the question. A lot of comic fans online have been yelling nepotism.
Oh,
What do you think of a famous director's son co-writing a Spider-Man book with it? Several comic creators have said, "I wish I had a famous dad that was a director that would let me write Spider-Man." What do you guys think of that?
Well, you should do what Dan Slott does and just lie your ass off until they give you a job.
Or
storytellers do.
And then claim you're another nationality.
Yeah, that too.
Wow.
Yeah.
The villain. Here's a problem with. This is similar to what Kevin Smith did. You know, he comes in, tries to make a big old change, and then gets out.
Yeah.
And I equate this very similar to that. The whole nepotism thing is, I guess, legit if you've been busting your butt and your first comic you've ever written is Spider-Man.
Well, you also got to remember, too, is that Abrams got it in with, you know, he's also kind of in with Disney, and Disney's owned by Marvel. So that's part of the reason why he probably was able to pull, you know, strings to do something, you know, get. On the same time, though, I mean, look, I think it's kind of appreciated sometimes for dad to help out their kid, you know, career management thing. But at the same time, I totally understand the other side about how there is kind of that the idea of the accusations of feel like nepotism, especially for certain. I mean, because Spider-Man is, let's say, it's an A-list title.
This is really nepotism, though. Nepotism is like if the kid goes to work for JJ.
Oh yeah. Yeah, but that's true. That's true. But it helped. But he did help. But it clearly helped him get this gig. I mean, do
you think Henry Abrams would have got this gig without his dad's name being on this comic?
Here's the thing. I will say this. It kind of reminds me a little bit of an author, a writer by the name of Joe Hill. Does anyone know who Joe Hill's father is?
Stephen King.
Mr. Hill.
Yes, that's correct. The reason why Stephen King's son wrote as an alias because what he was afraid of was, people are going to credit me with my dad. And so he purposely tried to, you know, he wanted to kind of build his own resume first before, you know, he came out and acknowledged that stuff like that. And I think that's kind of the problem here and that's the unfortunate side effect with this is that regardless of whether or not Abrams' son is, you know, he's got any talent, which I'm sure he has to, he's still going to be associated with his dad, regardless with this whole project. It's still gonna come up, and it's still gonna these things are gonna, you know, so that's gonna be hard. That's gonna be hard on a kid who's pretty much, you know, he's 21, and he's just starting out and stuff. So it's, I mean, but yeah, I mean, we'll wait till see if the product, you know, if the book is good and everything. It looks great visually. So
Sarah Pacelli's awesome.
Oh yeah.
But I do think kids of famous people have a hard go.
Oh yeah,
like Frank Sinatra Jr., Desi Arnaz, Lucy Arnaz. I mean, they have
Keith Sutherland, sort of.
Well, no, he did all right.
He was able. Yeah, he did okay.
Yeah. But anyway, JR, what do you think? Do you think this is nepotism? What do you think? It isn't fair that he got this big shot.
Well, you know, it's not like this hasn't happened since the beginning of time.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, this is always going on. You know, obviously if Henry Abrams walked in and said, I want to write a comic book, you know, they would have said, who are you? But then JJ's put his name on it. I mean, you know, if it was just Henry and not JJ as well, then I could, you know, then I guess I might be more inclined to say, well, that really sucks. But if JJ is claiming story credit too, I mean, I don't know. I mean, it's, you know, but the thing is, comics writers, I mean, they complained when Ron Zimmerman, George, remember the old Ron Zimmerman days, you know? Obviously he deserved all the flack he got.
Oh, yeah,
but, he did. But one of the things that people started complaining about was just, he's never written comics before. Why is he getting a shot, you know? So.
And legit, the only reason was because he was one of Quesada's Hollywood buddies.
That was Get Craven,
that was
right?
Literally the only reason. Yes.
Yeah, and I think we can agree that that's wrong and it's not right and it's unfair. But it's the way of the world forever, and I mean it's just the way it is and the way it happens. I mean, I think people are just kind of wasting, and it's not going to change. It's not going to change. So I think people are just kind of wasting their lungs complaining about it.
Any other thoughts on this one before we move on?
Yeah, well, I tell you, I have no interest in it, partially because you know, you have two franchises that have fallen on hard times: Star Trek and Star Wars. What's the common denominator between those?
Yeah,
it's bad robots.
Refreshing. You don't like the J.J. Abrams Star Trek films?
Oh,
George?
God.
The JR?
Here we go.
Boy.
Here it comes.
The first one was good, and then they got in a pissy or a snit fit because CBS wouldn't pull all the classic merchandise. Because JJ, they wanted the merchandise on the new show so they could make all kinds of money. CBS said, no, we're not pulling the old merchandise. So basically, they all put Star Trek on the back burner, and it took 4 years to come out with a new movie, and then they ripped half of it off from Wrath of Khan. I liked Into Darkness. I mean, I liked Benedict Cumberbatch's Khan, but it's apparent that but the 2009 Star Trek really started getting people interested in the franchise again, and then Bad Robot screwed it by waiting too long and other things. And then look what they did with Star Wars, for example.
Oh yeah.
I mean, first of all, The Force Awakens, I saw that 40 years ago when it was originally called Star Wars. And then I don't even want. And then, I mean, I think enough has been said about The Last Jedi and Solo.
Well, a lot of that's more Catholic.
In fairness, that wasn't J.J. Abrams. He didn't direct Solo, and he didn't direct Last Jedi.
That's more Kathleen Kennedy's as a producer thing. I think it's mostly that's her business there. I think it's if anything, J.J. Abrams is being brought in to help clean up the mess from The Last Jedi.
I gather that J.J. Abrams is being brought on, and the other guy got kind of shuffled off.
Just quietly go away. Yeah. All right.
Yeah, but was last? Oh, you could be right, I guess. But then again, I mean, like I said, that didn't excuse the fact that the first movie, again introduces these characters we don't give a shit about. We don't care about any of those characters. We want to see the characters we're familiar with that we cared about all these years. And the reason they put in these new characters is because they can get a piece of the licensing. That's why they did it. And to me, that is artistically bankrupt. So anyway, no, I have no interest in this series.
All right. The next topic.
Yeah, that is a really stern face that Mike was making. He just it was like.
Looks like Mike's trying not to fart.
Well, I'm looking at the other comments too. That's why I'm doing.
Well,
who knows? Maybe
I look at Star Wars. I like what JJ did an episode helping his salvage the trilogy. Danny D. I don't see. Danny D says I don't see that as much as nepotism thing, but I did see it a lot. Age isn't really a metric for talent. Jerry Conway took it over amazing when he was still 19 years old. After
Roy Thomas,
true.
Roy Thomas started working at Marvel, I think, when he was 17.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
And Stan Lee, look at what Stan Lee was doing when he was like 7. I mean, like these,
Well, you want to talk about nepotism? He was Martin Goodman's cousin. That's why. You want to talk about nepotism, folks? You got to be honest.
Well, in that case, nepotism worked.
It did. It's a rarity. So here's hoping this that book's good. The art's pretty. I like J.J. Abrams for the most part. So next topic is a rumor from a comic book. Let me see here. The She-Hulk is rumored to be in Spider-Man 3. Evidently, George, do you mind if I give you a spoiler since you haven't seen Far From Home?
I'm not going to see Far From
George,
Home.
do you care?
George does not care. Evidently, the identity is out. J. Jonah Jameson has outed. Mysterio is outed, and J. Jonah Jameson has announced to the world Peter Parker is Spider-Man. So the rumor from Cosmic Book News is actually TVO on Lord of the Long Box. Hey, that's stealing Bailey's stuff, by the way.
Yeah, it's just a tad. Just a tad.
So the Jen Walters, aka the She-Hulk, will be the lawyer for Spider-Man. So I guess the question is, evidently Daredevil is off can't use Daredevil because of the fixed deal. So what do you guys think of She-Hulk being in allegedly and Far From Home? What do you guys think?
I don't trust this side at all.
Yeah, plus you got to, how are you going to, if that's the case, the Spider-Man 3 thing, which we're going to get into later about all this, that's still far off. So we don't, it could be, tentative and everything like this. But if they do try to introduce a Jennifer Walters thing, I'm not sure what the deal with Marvel has for Hulk with regards to Universal.
Hulk is Universal distributes the Hulk movie if they make a Hulk solo movie, and then they get a cut of the profits.
Yeah, so
Right.
Disney's not going to let that go.
Yeah. So I mean, and also because I mean, I don't know if She-Hulk would qualify under that heading because
I think she could appear in a book. She's not headlining. It's not called She-Hulk Far From Home. So
no, but I mean,
you could have
yeah.
potentially, which I would prefer, is Mark Ruffalo's Hulk and Spider-Man. But that's just me.
Well, I mean, again, if you're trying to use like a lawyer character and everything like this, if the idea is he needs somebody to defend him, and I guess they figured, Jennifer Walter, she's a lawyer.
Yeah.
Why not? But then you got to introduce the whole thing about, oh, well, how does she get her Hulk powers if we're going to try to do that with this movie and everything like this? But I guess they want to, but I guess since with Avengers Endgame, they're trying to, I guess we want to try to bring a whole new roster of Avengers since most of the old original ones are kind of their contracts are up. So
Venkman says Cosmic Book News is very unreliable.
Yep.
I trust them, and we got this covered as far as an anvil can jump. All right, then. Didn't Comic Book News, according to Danny D, give out James Gunn's personal contact info and tell people to harass him to put Nova in the Guardians 2? I don't know, but...
Oh, was that them?
I don't know.
I don't know.
But, again, take it with a grain of salt. If you
take it with a huge grain of salt.
These rumors, I mean, every video, every one of these clickbaity videos was running with how Norman Osborn was going to be in the end credit scene in Far From Home. And no Norman. And there are some that I've clicked on or whatever, and it's just some guy sitting there say, and it's like there is absolutely no basis. None whatsoever. And even a couple of sites that I like have proven out to be really wrong on Star Trek issues. So let's talk about it when it happened.
I like how JR doesn't call it Star Trek news; he calls it Star Trek issues. I like that.
Next one, Peter, you've got this one. You should be very excited. Face It Tiger, Mary Jane is allegedly getting an ongoing, or is she getting a mini? Tell me about this.
All right. So at San Diego Comic-Con, Nicola Lowe got during the Spider-Man panel and announced that Mary Jane is getting her own mini series. It's a 5-issue mini series. The series itself is written by, I believe her name is Leah Williams, and the artist is Carlos Gomez. There's already been 3 covers so far, as you can see right there at the Brad showing the Ramos cover.
If you're watching video, if you're doing audio, you got nothing.
So I'm very excited, and Williams has said, if it's very successful, it will continue to be an ongoing series. This is the very first Mary Jane series that deals with the core universe.
Here you go. There's a bunch of variants for this issue number 1.
That variant where you're popping up there is absolutely gorgeous.
Yes,
I don't know. I've never seen Mary Jane with a gun like that before.
Well, it's supposed to be like a noir
like
kind
a
of
movie.
like.
Wait. Are we talking about a firearm, or are we talking about something else? About Mary Jane's guns?
Yeah.
No. Actual. God almighty.
Good Lord.
Thank you, JR.
I'm doing Google Images. I'm trying to. No, that's the Venom one. Do you remember, Peter, another cover?
Yeah, Carlos Gomez did a cover. It's in black and white. If you want, it's right there. It's
where? Oh, here. Okay, got it.
That one right there.
Yep.
So those are the 3 covers so far. More variant covers are coming out, and like I said, this is the first Mary Jane series that deals with the core universe that's been going on. It's going to play into Amazing, not so much as Friendly, but definitely Amazing. You can think of this as the Hunted issues that we have, but it's based on its own mini, and if it sells well, which I predict will, because Lois Lane has been doing really well in Superman, that we'll see an ongoing series, and I'm looking forward to that. And if they're looking for a new writer, I would say Jerry Conway. Let's put him in there. I think he would do. I mean, he's always loved Mary Jane, so.
Yeah, but his last miniseries that he did, Sparkle or whatever, that was
Smirkle. Awful. What the hell, Smirkle?
what was that article? He did that miniseries where he turned Captain Watanabe into the Wraith, and
those are like 16.1 or something like that.
Sparkle or whatever, but it was terrible.
Sparkle. Not Mary.
Sparkle. All right.
What the hell?
I like the comments. Adam says I'm going to have to subscribe to that Mary Jane book. So, is it ongoing or mini?
It's mini. It's going to be a 5-issue mini.
Okay.
And if it sells well throughout that period, they'll make it an ongoing.
Okay, got it. Let's see here. Anybody going to pick that book up? I know you will, but
if it's actually going to tie in a little bit to Nick Spencer's Amazing Spider-Man, because it sounds like it's going to a little bit, because if it's then it kind of almost feels like maybe it's one of those things where, as unfortunate as you have to, some people don't like writing tie-ins. I mean, if you want to, maybe if it does kind of semi cross over into that, I mean, it might be interesting, pick up. I mean, certainly the cover art on some of those things look great. I mean, especially that, the other one that you
Carlos Gomez has been posting images on Instagram of the interior art, and it looks really good.
It does.
Really good.
This just I haven't bought comics in a while or whatever, and but I mean, I don't know. It's certainly intriguing, particularly if we have covers with Mary Jane's guns on them. But but here's the thing: that Marvel tried to marginalize this character. This is what one thing that infuriates me about Marvel's hypocrisy, Marvel's creative and moral and bankruptcy, is they have tried to marginalize this character for at least 25 years, for example. But they will bring her out when they think they can sell something. Yeah, like when they come up with a suggestive statue or whatever, where her butt's in the air and she's doing Spider-Man's laundry. They'll use her for that, and then they'll. I think Mary Jane would be. I don't know that. I think she could support a limited or so. I don't think she could support her own series. But it's like, Marvel, really, you're doing this now. You're doing a 180. And so my attitude is, blank you and the horse you rode in on.
Well, okay. In fairness, the last time we had, something. Well, wasn't it? It was back during slots last year, I think, or like the year before slots last year, where like Marvel did that whole month where like everything had a Mary Jane cover.
Right.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And that was being done at a time when Mary Jane was suffering under people like Slott, who did nothing but try to assassinate Mary Jane's character left and right. Mm-hmm. And I remember at the time being upset with that because I was like, Marvel, stop! You're doing nothing but throwing shade at this magnificent character by letting Dan Slott write her in the first place. And then you'll throw her on every damn cover. You'll tell us she's not essential to Spider-Man's story. Mm-hmm. We can't have them married. It's not Spider-Man and Mary Jane. Yet you're going to put her on every damn cover.
Right.
So it's that was back when. Well, that was back in a different time under a different editor in chief. I think that was under Alonso still. Or it may not have been. I can't remember. But I think this is a little different now. I mean, because the attitude we get now from regarding Mary Jane and Peter is that Marvel's cool with it, at least. At least for now. We'll see how long that lasts.
Is Quesada out of power? I mean, I know did he get promoted to the point where he doesn't impact comics anymore?
He got promoted over to the movie stuff. Mm-hmm. And then quietly got shuffled out of the movie stuff. Yeah, he got promoted upwards again to, I think, basically like a figurehead position. Mm-hmm. And then it was funny because as soon as C.B. Cebulski came over, and then you had a lot of some of the comic book websites were like, oh no, he's terrible, he's a horrible human being. He was called himself something different and got a job as a rapist. So as soon as you had a lot of that, and then you had Quesada suddenly come out of nowhere. Hey, I'm going to be helping him show, with the ropes and everything. And I remember at the time calling that out and thinking, I don't think you actually are. I think you're just saying that for kind of a PR thing. I don't think you actually have much
He's
say
still
in it.
Considered creative consultant, essentially.
Is Gomez the interior artist? Is that what we're doing? Okay. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So look at his Spider-Man. His Spider-Man's really good. I like it. Mm-hmm. His Mary Jane up here looks good. I like this.
Yep.
His Morbius. Look at his Morbius is kind of different though. Look at that.
Why do I get the feeling this?
That's not Morbius.
That is more. Isn't
That
Hugh
Jackman is a vampire.
Why do I get the
That's
feeling that a
Morbius.
segue's coming here? In a
If
minute?
you go all the way up there, he shows Mysterio as well.
I'm waiting for Brad to scroll over something he shouldn't.
Right,
Oh yeah, there we go. There's a good looking Mysterio. That's good. You got the Spock bowl cut
It's,
there,
the,
JR.
it's Hulk stereo.
Oh yeah,
yeah, no,
it
that's
is
what I
kinda
thought. It was
greenish,
like, is that the Hulk? And oh no, it's Mysterio.
Oh, that's funny. That's funny. Okay. Let me close. Oh, this is.
It is funny that Mysterio, in many incarnations, has looked like Leonard Nimoy. Like
that's funny.
In the '60s cartoon, when Nimoy, he looked exactly like Leonard Nimoy.
So the next topic. Let me go back to this. Boy, this new program. I direct more. Who had this one? This next one is Mike. Mike, you've got this one. Morbius is getting his own title again. Look at this.
Yes.
Hopefully it's better than the last one. My God.
Yeah. I mean, so yeah, for the Morbius book here, let's see. I can't,
Vita Alea is written.
Viva and Mangolio Ferreira, and apparently it's saying that hey, this time Morbius is close to getting cured again.
It says here. I'll read it. The quote: Morbius is the living vampire, or is he? All new ongoing series. For years, Nobel Prize-winning biologist Michael Morbius has been struggling to cure himself of his vampirism, and now, for the first time in years, one may be within reach, but the path to it is littered with dangers and worse.
Of course.
So, Mike, you excited about that book? You going to pick up Morbius?
See, here's the thing. I remember the couple times where they tried to do a Morbius title.
Yeah,
specifically the '90s where he wore that biker leather thing.
Yeah, I like that book. I don't know.
Yeah, where they tried to do that whole thing with the night, like what was it, the Night Stalkers? Because Marvel wanted to do their own horror line kind of base thing, and then, and the thing is also the thing with this particular comic is we know partly one of the reasons why this is coming out is because there's a Morbius movie in the works. So they want to. So Marvel, of course, they want to jump on that bandwagon before the movie comes out, and so this is one way of doing that. The only problem is that, I mean, Morbius, he's kind of like that tragic. He's kind of he's a tragic character and everything like this, and he's like trying to find cure and stuff like that. But at the same time, as we've said, kind of jokingly said in the past, his comics do not really particularly last very long.
They don't. Yeah.
I mean,
even in the heyday of the '90s, it only lasted about 30 some odd issues.
Right, and I think the last one that they had, which was like, what was that one? It was some like he was fighting like gangsters or something. It was like only lasted for like 6 issues.
It was rough. It was right during the big time. I'm currently on the artist Marcelo Ferreira's art. His art's okay.
Yeah, right.
Oh, here's some turtles.
Oh yeah,
there's some turtles right there, and. I'm very limited on Marvel and Spidey, but art looks okay for the interiors. Let's look.
Right. Yeah.
Sure.
If you're going to show that.
Call of Duty Black Ops 3. They made a Call of Duty comic.
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, what's the company by? If it's
I have no idea. It's just his posting on his Facebook page.
So. Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah. Right. So let me go back. Here, okay.
You said duty.
What does this have to do with Spider-Man?
Morbius, Morbius, ASM 101.
We've covered it. We've got 17,000 things to get to.
I know. So, are you a Morbius fan? Anybody a big Morbius fan besides Kevin Cushing? No.
Morbius missed his chance when they did the Twilight series.
Oh yeah. Well, no. See. Here's the thing. Chi-Town. Zombies have already been played out. So they're probably somebody somewhere is probably thinking, hey, we need a new sexier type of undead. Hey, the Twilight thing has come and gone. We can bring the vampires back.
Yeah.
The Blade is coming out. They're revamping that.
Well, that's a Marvel studio. Yeah, that's a Marvel studio thing.
I know.
I mean, I don't want to diss the Morbius character because we all have our favorite villains and and things like that. So I don't want to diss the character at all. But
you will.
But it's like, what's the fascination with this character? They keep bringing him back in a series that he cannot support. I mean, I don't think I don't think a Green Goblin series could support itself. I mean, I wouldn't want to see one anyway because Lord knows who they get to write it and get the character wrong.
Yeah.
You know, but it's just what is so fascinating about this character? They keep bringing it back for a series that will not sell. I don't get it.
Yeah.
So anyway,
speaking of books that possibly won't sell,
Yeah.
Scream is getting her own title.
Yeah.
Tell me about this, Mike. Whoops. There we go.
The thing is, when I look at this, I say, why? Just why? I mean,
Okay.
Venom, he's fine. Carnage is fine too, although technically I think even with Carnage it's kind of overboard, but then we get this. We're going to get Scream. And apparently it's not going to be the same Scream. It's going to be a new Scream with a new character.
This is kind of teasing the aftermath of
Absolute Carnage. Yeah, because which again, and don't get me wrong, Absolute Carnage, the first issue actually looks really good. I mean, dude, what actually like drawn everything. They said actually it was better than I thought. But again, it's one of those things. It's again one of these things. It's like you get a symbiote, you get a symbiote, you get a symbiote that's been pregging Venom for years now.
Yeah,
and it's another one of these things. And it's like, oh yeah, this is another excuse for, hey, Marvel, let's do a bunch of spin-off series of same derivative characters and everything like this. But again, yeah, I'm like thinking, do we really need this? Do we really need
Probably
a
not.
Scream? Do we really need another symbiote
Did
book?
we need an Absolute Carnage?
Yeah, right.
So the text on Newsarama's site says the former She-Venom, Patricia Robertson, has taken on the Scream name and symbiote. So it's a different person?
It's a different character.
That's in the
Apparently-
miniseries now?
I guess Horse is going to show up at some point and be infected by one of these Carnage symbiotes, and then hey, she gets to keep it and be kind of a new anti-hero, I guess. But
so Mike Murdoch over there in YouTube chat says, finally, I've been asking Marvel for a Scream series for years. Yeah, right.
Shame on you, Mike Murdoch, for wanting to do this. You are the problem, my good sir. You are the problem for why we're getting all this symbiote stuff. It's because you.
Well, he just wants the guns on that cover. That's all he wants.
Oh my gosh.
Guns.
JR wouldn't mind. Go ahead.
Let's all be honest. Brad, you're going to buy this.
Yeah, I've bought the mini because I'm the completist that I am. Unfortunately,
You're the reason why we keep getting this crap.
Thanks. When in doubt, blame me.
No, it's true. Literally.
Oh man.
Yeah,
I'm
I mean,
sorry.
this I tell you, Marvel is like a country that's printing too much currency. You know, I mean, and hyperinflation. You know, this is like, I don't know. I mean, are they trying to print? You know, are they trying to print themselves to death or something? I mean, they figure the whole bubble's going to blow up here pretty soon, so they're just going to unload everything.
Yeah,
I mean, that's Marvel for the last several years, though.
Yeah, their strategy is to flood the market with different comic book titles. You know, so they can claim higher market share essentially.
Yeah,
that's
So there's more books coming out. We can talk about this. There's a Spider-Verse book coming out. Let me pull this up so you guys can see it. And here we go. Oh, wrong tab. Sorry. Let's see here.
Well, it's not quite a Spider-Man book.
Here, I'm copying the wrong URL. Hold on. Here, Mike, talk about this one before.
Okay, this one was kind of interesting. This is like so the creators behind us, Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, Phil Lord and what is in the other guy? Sorry, Lord and Chris Miller. Thank you.
Chris Miller. There you go.
The thing is, they're going to start. They've kind of decided to come up with a kind of a potential TV deal to kind of work with a bunch of, expand the Spider-Verse thing. And they quote that they're going to be able to work with, something like, what was it? They're like something like
there's 900
characters to work with.
Spider-Man deal, evidently.
Yeah. So which means we're going to get a bunch of different things, which basically translates to a bunch of derivative versions of Spider-Man and all the cast members. And because if it's a multiverse kind of thing, that's how you can get away with it. It's like having variations of Spider-Man and, hopping to different places. Whether or not it's going to be in the same animation style as, Into the Spider-Verse, I think is debatable. If they're
This
going to
is
make a TV series out
This
of
is
this.
actually a live action show.
Oh, it is a live action.
From
Okay,
what I was
that's even
reading.
Thank
Yeah.
God we're finally getting a Night Watch movie.
right.
So-
Yeah, but that's going to be even more interesting because I'm not sure if they did work with live action before, I think.
Yeah.
But I mean it's definitely kind of trying to show that, what with the success of that particular movie and everything, they figure, hey, we have a chance of expanding Spider-Man without Spider-Man verse, even further now, which is just like, and by the way, folks, we are going to explain why they have a Spider-Man verse without a Spider-Man coming later. So.
Adam in YouTube chat says maybe Screaming Morbius will be on the live action show. Yeah.
Right,
Speaking of Spider-Verse, they're releasing another comic. They're going to try to do another book of Spider-Verse. So here we go. Spider-Verse #1. You got Spider-Man over here. You've got Peter Porker, Spider-Gwen.
Yeah.
That's what's
Annie.
That's
Annie,
Spider.
That's Spider. That's I guess Spider-Man.
That's the regular Spider-Man.
Who do we got? We got who's writing this book? Stop that pop-up. Jed McKay. Oh, he's the one that wrote is writing the
Black Cat one. The Black Cat one. Yeah.
And we've got rotating artists, including Juan Frigeri, who was on Peter Parker's spec. Oh, Art Adams. Ooh, there you go. That upped it. James Herron, who did Rumble. Stuart Eminem. Stuart Eminem's coming back. There you go.
Yeah, that's a good selling point.
So, anybody going to pick this book up?
No.
Again, I mean, it seems like okay. I guess it's one of those things where you hope that this thing is not going to be played out too much with this multiple variations of Spider-Man. I mean, again, I know the Spider-Verse was very successful and everything like this. I mean, I'm talking about the film, not so much the comic too, but it's getting to a point where, sometimes if you kind of oversaturate things with too much of the same kind of version of the thing, it can get played out. And I think that's kind of the risk of where they're going with that they have with this. If we're going to be concentrating on, let's have a bunch of derivative Spider-Man, it kind of makes the other original Spider-Man kind of lose that appeal a lot, I think.
Yeah.
And that's just, but we'll see. I mean, again, they're kind of capitalizing on the movie success and everything like this, so.
So the next, since Mike, you're talking, this next one, let me see here. Let me scroll down. Well, why are we playing a video?
Oh, we're flashing to our website.
Yeah, we're on the Crawlspace site. Let me mute this.
Mm-hmm.
Where is it playing? Where's my audio coming from?
Okay.
Oh,
yeah,
there it is.
Yeah,
that's what's causing it. Okay.
Right.
Let me blow this up. Well, just take me through this. It explains the Marvel deal, the $1 billion, and why certain characters. Again, heavy grain of salt with this one.
Right.
It's a theory.
Yeah, and a lot of this, it kind of gets into the whole deal between Marvel and Sony. So apparently, I guess there's a couple some insider knowledge essentially. Specifically, there's two potential sources on this. One of this, of course, is Rich Rushfield, who says that who posted some kind of a tweet, a copy of a tweet thing here, I guess, or actually was David Chen, I guess. Excuse me, but essentially he's talking about how how the idea that Sony was determined to make sure that Spider-Man Far From Home made $1 billion.
Yeah.
Worldwide. Why? Because if they didn't make it to $1 billion, the rights would revert back to Marvel would basically revert, Sony would lose the rights and it would go back to Sony. Because according to this thing is, and I'm going to read this portion what this posting thing is. It says, from this David Chen tweet, it says, the Marvel Universe dodged a bullet here. The original Sony Marvel Spidey deal to co-produce these movies stipulated that if this Spidey cleared $1 billion, Marvel would get to oversee a third. If it hadn't, full control would have reverted back to Sony, which have raised the specter that America's most beloved entertainment executive, I believe he's talking about Kevin Feige here, would look to cash out every way possible, as well as grab complete unexpurgated credit for the victory and thrown superhero canon to the wind. Not something he was ever a fan of in the first place. Blah blah blah. It was feared he would have tossed Spidey and Venom together for a quickie mashup that could have potentially sunk both. Now, the other source of this thing comes from a video series of a guy called Midnight's Edge, who apparently does, he gets a lot of these kind of movie insider news.
That's the video I'm showing right now a little bit.
Right. Now, he goes into this thing, and it's I amazingly for folks who want to watch it, because I'm going to bungle, I can't go into. I mean, a lot of the weeds in the thing is extremely complicated. But suffice to say is that the way the deal is supposedly structured between Sony and Marvel, Sony has to produce a Spider-Man, a quote Spider-Man movie, like every so often.
Every 2 years, be it
every 2 years.
Someone of the 900 characters.
Right.
Hence why we're getting Venom and Morbius.
The key point is a Spider-Man movie doesn't necessarily have to have Spider-Man in it.
Yeah.
So and the way this is kind of stipulated is now, because Marvel is kind of co-producing Spider-Man in the MCU, that kind of means that Sony can't. Well, we do have the full rights to Spider-Man, but we can't have a Spider-Man in the actual movies. So, which is why they are able to produce something like Venom, or why they're came up with Silver and Black, or Kraven, or Morbius, and all these other characters, and why they can produce also Into the Spider-Verse, which is disconnected from all this, which is disconnected from the MCU. It also apparently explains why Marvel, they have a Spider-Man, but not really. And what I mean by Spider-Man not really, it's like, oh yeah, that's why you can get away with a Peter Parker whose mentor is Tony Stark. Or why you have a Mary Jane, or why you have an MJ whose initials are Michelle Jones instead of Mary Jane, or why you have or why you can have sort of the Vulture as a disgruntled guy who wants revenge on Stark, or a Mysterio who wants revenge on Tony Stark, or a J. Jonah Jameson who doesn't have his signature flat top. A lot of this is just it's just as long as they tweak the characters just enough, they can call it Spider-Man. They say yeah. So they can still get away with it. So in case Marvel does somehow lose the rights or whatever, then Sony can swoop in and says, hey, we can bring back Spider-Man into the same universe as Venom and Morbius and all these other
that look on Feige's face.
I love it.
Oh yeah, Feige's face.
Crazy lady say what?
Every time she speaks in this video, Kevin Teige's like,
let me just go back and just pause that right there. Okay.
Yeah, he is just he is trying so hard to say he's trying to almost mentally communicate. Do not.
I remember that. Yeah, that was the moment she was like, "Oh yeah, this is all the same shared universe." And Feige's like,
and Feige's like, no.
Is it like the fake?
You're going off script here. You're going off script here, Kennedy. Here, you're going off
Kennedy
script.
Pascal.
Oh, Emmy Pascal. Excuse me.
Okay.
Ron executive screwing up a franchise. But I mean, again, but.
Whatever medication Amy is taking, I want some. I just
get this. Amy Pascal is now over at Universal, so she controls the Hulk distribution rights.
Yeah.
So I think that's kind of fun.
Yeah.
So
go ahead,
they can't use exactly a Mary Jane that's a redhead. They have to call her MJ. They have to use a younger version of Aunt May for the deal. They can't use an older woman.
Right.
I don't believe any of this. I think it's all bullshit.
No, because but the thing is, so if this is supposedly right, that means a comic book accurate Mary Jane can appear in a Venom movie, but not in a Spider-Man movie.
And they'd have to recast Spider-Man, right?
I don't believe this.
No, well that's the thing. Well, that's the thing though. If they did cast a Spider-Man in like what they're calling the Venom verse, then it would show that, oh, well, it would kind of shatter the illusion that they're creating here. Because again, the pitch that Amy Pascal was trying to pitch is, oh yeah, it's all part of the same universe and everything. But even though everybody knows it's not, But yeah, it's one of those things where, again, it's just like, as long as one side tweaks it just enough, they can kind of get away with having a spider. They can say, hey, it's Spider-Man, even though there's another group here, there's a bunch of Spider-Man characters who are not, part of it. So yeah, but
yeah. Do you guys believe this? George is saying it's pure fiction. Mm-hmm. What do you guys think? Let's open it up.
I don't care.
It would kind of explain why the characters are off a bit.
There's been so many theories explaining this deal, and it's basically come down to the point is, what are we seeing on film? What are we seeing? What are we paying money to see, or not paying money to see? But it's just no. I just don't care.
Yeah. The only thing is, I mean, it may. I don't completely think, or don't completely toss it out as a theory, because honest to God, when you get lawyers involved, you get nothing that makes remotely any sense coming out. I mean, this could all be true. And Midnight's Edge did I think Midnight's Edge did a very good series on the complications involved in the Star Trek movie rights, or the Star Trek issues. And I mean, I think that's 100% accurate. So never underestimate the stupidity of the legal
of lawyers.
Especially when it comes to intellectual property rights.
Yeah, exactly. Never underestimate it. So.
All right.
When Marissa Tomei took the job as Aunt May, she initially thought that she was hired on to play an old lady. She's talked about that. So I don't know that that's, like I said, I don't know that a lot of this is true. I wouldn't be surprised if someone, did tell her, yeah, you're being hired on to play an old lady.
Yeah. All right. Any other thoughts on that one?
In which case, that would, oh God.
So sorry, I hit the wrong button. There we go.
Sure you did.
Okay, so let's see. Let me get the next item up that we're going to talk about. Who's got this one? This one is Peter. Hold on a second, Peter. Let me put this up here, and I should be able to direct this better. There we go. Okay. Man dressed as Spider-Man sends encouraging messages to drivers and children. Take me through here.
Okay, so I don't know what people are like in Texas, but we got Cameron Fielder, known as to dress up as a Sumer, on his days off. Goes into oncoming traffic where people are trying to get home to eat dinner, see their kids, their loved ones. Dressed up as Spider-Man to tell people that you matter, you are strong with us. And seriously, if I was trying, I'm like, get out of my way, I'm trying to get home. And but as drivers go by, Fielder or they yonk and they yell at him to get his attention, hopes then to get theirs. And he just wants to provide a sense of encouragement for people, facing silent battles. And that's all good, but don't do it on oncoming traffic. It's why would you do that? And he's like, he said, and I quote, I took what I dealt with and applied it to other people, anxiety and depression, and those types of things that you have. And that's all great. He's taking Spider-Man's character and, relaying a possible message, but he's wearing the wrong costume for one thing.
He's wearing the Iron Spider.
And the other thing, he's, I guess he wants to generate a lot of publicity, during traffic or, rush hour. So
yeah,
that's really. It looks like he ought to be selling Little Caesars pizzas or macaroni.
Looks like you ought to be selling weed in the back alley.
Wait, that's coming up.
Or holding a sign that says, a homeless veteran, please help.
So are these the same street? These is extension of the same street performers from New York City coming out?
I mean, he's in the middle. Look at that. He should be arrested. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Well, what's the law though in Texas for basically for any two doing any kind of like that kind of as he's promote? I mean, if he's promoting, if it's doing like a PS, almost like a public service type thing or something like that. So
I always presumed that Texas was free range. I mean, as long as
wrong video.
as long as you didn't make too much of a mess.
Oh no!
We have so much to cover and not any bit of it anything.
Oh my gosh!
Where's Spider-Man when you need him?
There's no Spider-Man in this one. No, it's just a complete police. This is complete. This is what happens when a Spider-Man doesn't intervene, folks.
Okay, let's
come at me, bro. Come at me.
Come at me. Okay, hold on. Okay. Let me take the screen off again. There we go. Okay, we're back.
Are we?
Probably not. Give me 1 second. Boy, I'm going to get better at this directing stuff. Okay, so
no, you're not, because you're too distracted by the goofy crap.
Me trying to give me if I'm driving and some idiot in a costume walks up and wants to give me a hug and positive reinforcement, I'm sorry, he's going to be a bug on my windshield.
All right. Speaking of JR, let's go here. We've real quick. A French inventor has created a Green Goblin glider. Take me through it.
I tell you,
I paid money just to see JR on that thing.
dude. All right, let's take a look at JR.
He is an old man. Are you trying to kill him? It's hard to take that kind of action.
What would happen if I got on that thing?
He's like,
I immediately would flip it and we'd be flying upside down. Well, here's the thing. I mean, originally I thought it was cool, but it's French. So, I mean, it just really bugs me that the French came up with a goblin glider. You didn't
like Macron nodding and approval? Yes.
Oh, here's some more video.
Norman Osborn did go to France.
No.
So,
but outside of the fact that he's French, this is I just remember when Back to the Future back a few years ago because it was the 2015 and of course Spencer and I were talking about hoverboards, and I kept saying they'll never come out with a hoverboard because I just can't imagine how much the power that would be required to do that, and then I saw this guy, and it's like the first time I saw him, I said, that's like a friggin' goblin glider.
It is.
Now he did, and the fact that he got over the English Channel, which is 20 something miles, to be honest, this is incredible.
Yeah.
The thing is, if he were doing this over the Midwest or in Texas or whatever, someone would shoot him down.
Yeah, we don't cod with no goblins here in the Lone Star today.
Now, he ran out of gas. I guess this thing. I mean, I can't imagine how much energy or gasoline this thing has to use because he had to refill once over the when he was going over the English Channel. But this is a marvelous feat of engineering. But the thing is, I don't know that it has any practical use. I mean, for example, there's no way, particularly in the United States, they're going to put this thing on the market because look at all the idiots that hurt themselves on the so-called hoverboard.
Elon Musk sells flamethrowers on his website, JR.
Yeah.
I mean, they'll sell anything.
This reminds me of when Bezos came out with Jeff Bezos came out with the giant robot that he was like in the battle suit thing, and it's like, holy crap, he's Lex Luthor. This is almost kind of the same thing.
Bezos is a lot like Lex Luthor.
Yeah, it is.
That's scary.
So, would anybody get on this flying glider besides Norman Osborn?
Paid $1.5 million though from the French government to finish this thing. Apparently, it was. It says here he's been tinkering with the technology on the flyboard for 3 years, in part with help of a French military grant he received last year for
French military.
1.4 million.
That's funny.
Yeah, right.
French military.
Yeah.
That's adorable.
Yeah.
But what
Do you
happened?
think this
Now,
thing
here's
on
the
my
question.
head stands for France?
So here's the question: this thing runs out of gas. It's going down and getting trashed. This guy constantly. He can't.
Well, that's why
redline
he's got to have a parachute on of some kind, doesn't he?
Does he?
Or
Oh, I guess that looks
yeah,
like
he does.
parachute.
He's
Yeah.
not high up enough for a parachute.
Did it say in the article how much this thing
Parachutes
cost?
don't work when you're 50 feet up in the air.
That's true.
dude.
Yeah, that's true.
That's the
yeah.
voice of experience you're hearing from George.
You saw though. I mean, when he's flying, he's constantly being followed and pursued by boats,
Right,
things like that. I mean, it's like when those people would swim from Cuba to America, and they were saying, "Oh, what a great feat!" Which it is a great feat because I certainly couldn't do it. But I mean, but they're surrounded by all kinds of boats and other things.
Yeah.
Oh,
They're
yeah.
never really, just out there.
Yeah, there's no current military application for a Goblin glider and the 25-man support team that must be within 10 feet of it at all times.
Yeah, right.
So if you look at our
And
chat,
even then, it's like, how easy would it be to shoot down? I mean, it's
Mike Murdoch
I
on
mean,
our
it's-
chat says,
it's
"I would
cool.
get one. Come on, we all would.
Yeah,
And I would
that's
dress up
true.
like the freaking Green Goblin and fly
Yeah,
around
yeah.
cackling. I'd go to work on that. Screw traffic."
Yeah.
And Danny D, leave it to the French military to fund something with absolutely no use in
No use
combat.
combat. Yeah,
French-
basically because
French
what
military.
basically this is, what basically looks like, it's almost like you're standing on top of a drone, essentially.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, it does look like it's kind of.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of like even the way the way it's structured and everything like this. But at least he got in the book of Guinness Book of World Records.
Farthest flight by hoverboard, 2,252. 252. What? Okay.
what
Yeah.
the hell is a metri? What's a metri? What is that?
Meter. It's meter in French. All those metric systems.
Finally, we're closer to the future that Back to the Future 2 promised us.
That's true.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Let's do another news story about Tom Holland's daddy. Who's got this one? George, you've got this
Unfortunately.
one.
Yeah.
Yep.
So apparently, Tom Holland's dad is a comedian / actor over in the UK, which I didn't know until
There we go.
BuzzFeed decided to manufacture a story. And so he wrote a book basically about I don't know, I guess like his life and what it's like being have your kid be an actor too and become like exponentially more famous than you are.
It's called Eclipsed. Turns out Spider-Man does have a dad. Forward by Tom Holland. There you go.
Yes, forward by Tom Holland. I guess he wrote this book, and his son wrote the forward, and then 4 people on Twitter said something. Literally, that's what BuzzFeed posts 4 tweets. Go back up to the headline, Brad.
Okay, got it.
This is
What's RuPaul doing here? What happened?
Go back up to the headline.
I'm here.
This is another example of clickbait. And Brad, I'm going to take the time to learn you about this. It won't do any good.
It won't.
But I'm going to explain to you a little bit about clickbait. So, and people are calling him bitter. 4 people, 4 on Twitter
Right
had
here.
a problem with this guy writing a book like this, which is clearly tongue in cheek. If Tom Holland's writing the forward for it, 4 people object to it. BuzzFeed makes a story out of 4 people objecting to it, and Brad decides we have to cover that.
So Hayden over on Twitter goes, Tom Holland's dad wrote a bitter ass book about his son getting more famous than him. But anyway,
it's not a bitter book. It's probably very tongue in cheek. I'm sure he's amazingly proud of his son.
yeah.
I mean, I haven't read it, but yeah, I'm going to go out on a limb here and say Tom Holland's not going to write a book if his dad's like, my son's more famous than me and I'm not happy, blah, 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 blah. The people need just to get a grip. BuzzFeed needs to get a grip. The people on Twitter need to get a grip. You need to get a grip, Brad. And stop making us cover this dreck.
So let's open it up for debate. There is no debate. Okay. Half of these things I put up here just so people can insult me. The next one that we're going to talk about is we're going to Texas. KXII. Are they your Fox affiliate, George?
No, they're in Sherman.
Sherman, okay. So tell me about this Spider-Man burglar.
Yeah, so a 17-year-old dressed up as Spider-Man and broke into a liquor store for smokes. And may have
Spider-Man.
may have broken into some other liquor stores also for smokes, or other I don't know, maybe liquor things, I don't know. And so the police caught him.
Mm-hmm.
But you know what is out on the run? The hyphen. They haven't caught the hyphen.
Oh no! Look at here. No, look in the headline. They don't have the hyphen. Down below, they have it. They have it where with. Okay, look. Police said Wilson's last Spider-Man appearance. Notice no hyphen. Next, you're scrolling down way too much.
There it is.
Just stop.
Yeah.
Police said Wilson's latest Spider-Man appearance above where you've highlighted, Brad. Above where you've highlighted.
Yeah. The first paragraph and the first
Spider-Man, and then in the next one right below it, hyphen, no capital M. This is horrible. This is bad journalism.
This somebody did not edit this story properly.
No,
it's like the hyphen's making a cameo appearance.
No, I mean this is somebody when you submit one of these stories and things, you got to have somebody proofread these things. I mean this is just
so it's terrible everywhere. I mean there is no such thing, and there is no such thing as journalism anymore. It's all journalism in quotes.
Yeah.
So some people used to do a ski mask. They used to do a trench coat or whatever to rob places. Now this guy in Texas is dressing up as Spider-Man to rob places.
Brad, we've been covering people dressed as Spider-Man robbing things now almost as long as I've known you, and I've been coming on this show. That's not a new phenomenon, Brad. It's just something you make us routinely cover.
All right, let's.
And the story is always somebody dressed up like Spider-Man and got arrested by the cops.
All right,
illegal.
Let's go to JR. Spider-Man versus Potman.
The first time I saw this, I said I thought Johnny Cash was dead. You know, I mean, or Johnny Cash is Spider-Man. This guy's lawyer, but he's a Joker impersonator.
Yeah,
well, that's the lawyer or the
connection there. He looks like he's a Joker impersonator. Looks like Johnny Cash. What's his name? Who's playing
Joaquin Phoenix?
He also played Johnny Cash. So
yeah,
it's all in a weird sort of symmetry that's kind of frying a few brain cells. All right,
tell me this story.
This guy here, I swear, you know. His name is Abdel Amin El Hezani or whatever.
Wait, wasn't this guy on before? He was in trouble with something else.
See, that's going to be part of it. Okay, he was walking from West 47th, dressed as a marijuana plant.
Like Johnny Cash playing the Joker. What is that? Did they? Did somebody?
Yeah, JR said that.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you. I'm sorry, JR.
So he was dressed as a marijuana plant.
So was Spider-Man or Johnny Cash dressed as the pot plant?
The Spider-Man was dressed as the pot plant.
Okay.
He claims he was harassed, harangued, handcuffed, and arrested, then thrown to the ground because he was dressed as a pot plant. No, you were harassed, harangued, and thrown to the ground because you're an idiot, an absolute idiot. You know. Okay, poor guy. He suffered a cut to his forehead, was bleeding and in pain. After his stop at the hospital, he claims he was taken to central booking, but the department wouldn't accept him because of his physical complaints. In other words, the department didn't accept him because he was a whiny little bitch. I mean, he was ultimately held in central booking area reserved for special cases. Yeah, that's right, special cases. You know, like you're that kind of special. You know, I've been hit on the head kind of special. All right. He alleges in the suit he didn't do anything illegal prior to his arrest. Well, I don't know. I think extreme idiocy is illegal. You know,
as Potman, right?
Yes, as Potman.
As Potman. When does he get on the spider suit?
hang on.
Okay.
I mean, he doesn't get on the spider suit in this story, but anyway, I'll get to that. So anyway, at the time of his arrest, he started flailing his arms around, twisting away from the officer, and refused to put his hands behind his back before falling to the ground and putting his hands under his body. A struggle ensued when that officer and the second tried to handcuff him. The second officer fell to the ground, tearing ligaments in his shoulder.
Ooh.
Okay. Didn't this guy needs to watch Chris Rock's video, How Not to Get Your Ass Kicked by the Police. It's like, I'm sorry, if the police come to you and you give them a hard time, you are going to get kicked. You're just going to get, and the performer, they say performer, but they left off the quotes. Okay. The costume, his lawsuit, the costume character suffered severe mental anguish and psychological trauma as the result of the arrest. No, I'm afraid the psychological trauma happened to this buffoon long ago. But here's the thing. When I read this story, I clicked, it starts out by saying a Times Square Spider-Man who hit the city with a $2.5 million lawsuit last year. And it's like, so I clicked on that link, went back to this story.
I think you covered that one.
He did.
Probably.
Yeah.
Spider-Man falsely arrested and terrorized by police. So we go back to the fact that he was, I'm dressed up as Spider-Man and I'm harassing people. I'm just trying to put food on the table and the police are harassing me. And of course, if you, you read down the middle of the story, while El Kazini's November 2015 arrest is sealed, that already tells you what you need to know. A complaint filed with the district attorney's office, blah, 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 shows that he was arrested a few months later on February 19th for punching someone in the face twice at the section of West 44th and Broadway. Okay. It's like, so he's a loser. He's an utter loser. And this story even goes, and then if you click on another link of the story, he's in the news again expressing dismay as the city council okays pedestrian plaza bill.
Okay, here he is.
Yeah.
And here's the thing.
Is that a fanny pack?
Yep, it is. It is a fanny pack.
So, I mean, the thing is, though, I was going to keep talking about how stupid these people are, but I've done that a lot. But then I thought about it. I thought, you know what? I've been to New York several times. Okay. And I've walked in the Times Square pedestrian area, and I've never been harassed by one of these losers. They're there, they're there and people are paying it, but they've never bothered me. Okay. You know who the people who bother me? The people who bother me come up to me and ask me if I want to buy a ticket to a comedy show. Okay. Those people bother me. Arrest those people. All right. Here in Cleveland, I get harassed. I get people come up as, change, man. You got some change. I can have something neat. I'm neat, man. And I thought, you know what? Maybe these guys aren't as bad. It's like, I'd get rid of I've never been harassed by one of these losers. So I don't know, maybe I'm just too hard on them. Maybe I'm just too much of a grumpy old man and just don't see the value that they provide to society.
Man. So Pot Man versus Spider-Man. There you go, JR. Can't say you've ever done that story before.
But basically, Pot Man, click on the link. Then you find another story where he's suing the city. Then you click on a link, and then he's complaining about being terrorized by the police. And oh, by the way, he was arrested in 2015. Then he was arrested a few months later for punching somebody.
Wow.
Why do they waste? This is why print is dying. This is why journalism is dying, because they report crap like this, and then Brad decides that it's a story, right, George?
Basically, yeah.
I love how these segments always end up with, and that bastard Brad. All right, next.
It makes a person want to start smoking. It makes a person just want to start smoking.
Oh no.
Here, Tom in YouTube chat says, I just noticed George has switched over to a pipe. Why the pipe, sir?
I had a little bit of pipe tobacco left, and so I figured I would finish that off tonight. I had one during the during the reviews.
Yep. And I must say, George, it totally suits you.
It is true. It reminds me of Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. They say, John Candy says, I quit smoking. I've switched over to cigars.
Yeah. I don't.
Hey guys, I gotta leave. I'll talk to you later. All right.
All right,
Okay.
man.
Yeah, we'll see you
See you,
later.
buddy.
I don't smoke pipes a lot anymore, but I just happen to have some pipe tobacco from recently. And here's my other pipe. It's a Peterson pipe. It's
JR's back to his Tommy Chong's. Okay, Mike, you want to take this next one about the Disney and the kid? Okay,
I'm not sure if I can even bring the funny to this one because
this one's not funny. This is just it's just a. All right.
Well, I don't know. Brad once wanted me to bring the funny to a hit and run involving a 7-year-old.
God. Okay, so tell me a bit about this. This is about a kid's headstone.
Yeah. So as you can see, for some of you who are watching this thing, there's a person by the name of Lloyd Jones had a son named Ollie, and Ollie was when he was 4 years old, he was diagnosed with a very rare genetic disorder that affected his brain, the spinal cord, the peripheral nerve, and sad to say, he didn't have long to live. And so Lloyd Jones, so Mr. Jones, in order to honor his son's memory, because he decided to have a tombstone with Spider-Man engraved on it. Mm-hmm. Unfortunately, the Walt Disney Company, which of course owns Spider-Man, Marvel Comics and stuff, said no, because partly because they figured that doing so seemed like it was too crass and it would ruin the innocence. It seems like to have exploited. Whereas it's more like about, well, it's kind of more like feel like because you're using our image of Disney images without our permission, what have you. So they had so apparently this outraged the social media that they figured why can't this kid have a tombstone on it? It had I think it was, they signed a petition, 12,000 signatures. Right. But yeah, so essentially it's just mainly that it's supposed to be, he did also, as I said, he did ask he did have the local council. It says, hey, can I, go ahead and do this? And again, but he thought he could go through all the right channels, but apparently
the question, Disney, I don't think can win in this situation. I mean,
PR wise, no.
PR wise, no. I don't know what I would do if I was Disney in this aspect, because you would essentially be giving your character, well, that was just a quote on the Fox story that Walt Disney had a policy,
right?
I guess the Walt Disney, that doing so would ruin the innocence and the magic
of the characters. Famed characters.
What do you guys think of that? Is it better to not ruin their legacy, or have a father honor his son? I don't know. That's a very. What would you guys do? What do you think?
I do honestly about this whole thing. This is one of those things where I'm not, I mean, on the one hand, you're trying to honor your son's memory and everything like this, and you're thinking, why can't you give him a pass just this once? I mean, but at the same time, because this again, this sounds
because that's not how brand management works.
It works. I know. That's right. This is. I mean, legally, Disney's in the right here.
So. We had something similar to this with the Superman symbol or statue, didn't we? A few years ago.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Locally, one of my in my area, they didn't ask DC's permission, and they just did it.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know.
I mean, here's the thing. I mean, if something like this had happened to me, I would probably bury my son with something Spider-Man, for example.
Yeah.
I wouldn't put it. But here's what really irritates people, and it's kind of the thing that it really irritates people. It irritates people with the Superman thing. The lawyers get involved and they write something stupid. Like for example, they say, well, it'll ruin by associating the characters with death, it'll ruin their innocence and magic. Spider-Man's career is defined by death. It's like he became Spider-Man because his uncle was murdered. One of the most seminal events in his history is the murder of his girlfriend. His career, like I said, death follows him around. I mean, so for Disney to write something, well, we don't want to associate with death because, so that's the thing. It's the lawyers get involved and they do something, they write something. And that's what frosts me more than anything else. I think, again, like the way, the thing is, a company has to vigorously defend its patents, for example, and you can't go to a bakery and say put a Spider-Man head face on it. They won't do it. They shouldn't. Yeah. Well, they can't do it because places like, corporations will send people on the sly in there to ask them to do it so they can catch them doing this kind of thing.
Right. Yeah.
So, so I can see why Disney, I can see why you wouldn't want Tombstone. I can see why you wouldn't want it as a corporation, but it's honest to God though, put a little effort into your PR. Write something human. Write something that sounds human. And it said, they wrote him the boy a nice message. The boy's dead.
Dead. It's too late at that point.
Dead. Yeah. Not gonna read it. Wrote a nice message. And he's dead. So
George, George, what's your take on it? Disney can't win, I don't think.
Better for the dad to have gone ahead and found somebody to put the spider on the tombstone to begin with, put the tombstone in place, and then have Disney try to come and take it.
Yeah. That's forgiveness, not permission. Yeah. Last news topic, and it is George. What is it?
Ditko news.
Nice. We have Ditko news, and let's see here. So, this is from Bleeding Cool. Steve Ditko's Mr. A will be collected against his wishes. So, Steve Ditko, here's a letter that he wrote someone. He said, I am against all of the stories collected into one book. So, Ditko does not like trade paperbacks, even though his Amazing Spider-Man stuff has been traded for decades. But he just doesn't like it. And Mr. A is one of his I think his favorite character that he created or co-created. So IDW is going to collect his Mr. A material. And this is Steve Ditko's. What's the relation?
Well, it's not a picture of Steve Ditko. Let's make that.
Not. Well, it's closer than I've come before in the past. It's in his family tree. Let's see.
It's his nephew.
Mark Ditko is his nephew, and him and his father. So, Mark Ditko is the son of Steve Ditko's brother. So there's your family history. Mark Ditko says the Ditko family intends to carry on his legacy and promote it. This is just a starting point. We're still getting our heads wrapped around what all that means.
In other words, we have bigger plans to exploit our dead relatives' estate so we can make money from it. We have big plans.
It just does not feel right. Let's see. And they talked about the Facebook group that Steve Ditko has where people share their letters. Steve Ditko wrote letters back and forth to many fans over the years. And Mark talks about when he went to visit his uncle's apartment, he opened the door and there were letters all over the floor. And even one was from the director of the Doctor Strange film. So he was all about writing letters. Is there going to be more collaboration from the family? Let me see. Where was the part where it talks about how if this is against Ditko's wishes?
Yeah, but family's not going to care about that once money's involved.
Why? I think that's so. I don't know.
Because there's money involved.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is it's kind of like what happened with it's like with anyone like the Siegel family too. Okay. I mean, it's just like
here's what they asked. They said, you mentioned that you're doing what Steve wanted to do. Did he change his mind? Because I know there's a letter out there where he said that he didn't want all of his art and stories collected. And Mark Dick goes, yes, he did say that. What can I say? You know what? Some of this is being driven by my dad. And my dad has said, quote, I want to do this. And my dad was his brother. I think I will always have to wrestle with some things like that, right or wrong. Anyway, thoughts on this with going against his wishes.
Yep. George is right.
Money. It's all money talks.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Well, I mean, of course, the thing is, you read Steve Ditko's stuff, and he's such a grumpy old man. I mean, it says, you probably expect to see other notes around that says, "I am against the internal combustion engine" or something like that.
I hate the letter M.
Yeah, exactly. So I mean, Ditko's eccentricities are, I just can't, it's like we've heard so much about it. It's almost like I don't even know why we pay attention to him anymore. But there's nothing about preserving any legacy about this. This is all about money. This is all about money. If it was something that needed to be done to preserve copyright, for example, then I could understand it. But as far as I know, the copyright will last for the next 50 years. Is it like the death of the author plus 50?
It's definitely the author, but I think plus 75, I think, maybe.
Yeah.
Well, it depends.
So it's nothing that has to be done to preserve copyright. If it was that way, then I could understand it, or to reestablish a copyright. But that's not it. So this is just purely money driven.
To play Mephisto advocate, if his look at George shake his head. If it's not collected in trades and his legacy isn't continuously put out there, if the family of, say, Frank Sinatra or Elvis didn't consistently put out content, do you think Ditko would be forgotten? Which is what that family doesn't want. I don't.
No, because Ditko didn't have anything to do with Sinatra or Elvis.
Well, JR, you're laughing too hard.
Well,
I'm talking about legacy families, and Ditko is a legacy. And
you're the way you worded it, Brad. You made it sound like it's on Elvis Presley Enterprises and Sinatra's estate to keep Ditko alive.
I'm talking about legacy families. You got the point just to insult me, you ass.
Brad, every time Spider-Man appears in print or on TV or movies, it's always going to say created by Stan Lee and Steve Ditko. So he's not going to be forgotten by any of this stuff.
He's not going to be forgotten. But the number one person who it wouldn't matter if he was forgotten or not would be Ditko. Ditko didn't care about being remembered.
Right.
That's true.
He didn't. But the thing is, the family can make money off of this, and they're going to. They're going to be like, yes, people will pay a ton of money to have his crazy ass stories collected into one huge volume. Yes, let's have an omnibus for $100.
Yeah,
make it rain.
Let's print some money. I'll take a bath in money tonight with Ditko Mr. A omnibus money.
Well, okay,
take a bath with Ditko, Elvis, and Frank Sinatra.
So here's another Mephisto.
Pairing nightly, Elvis, Frank Sinatra, and Steve Ditko.
There's an off-Broadway play in there somewhere.
You're right.
Go to Vegas and watch the Elvis impersonators and the Steve Ditko impersonators.
That's the sequel to Bubba Hotep. Instead of Elvis and JFK, next it's Elvis, Steve Ditko, and Frank Sinatra, and they've got to stop a vampire.
I can see him doing an album in there or something too.
Strangers in the night. Oh, hey, Frank, where are we going to get them vampires? A is abs or whatever. I can't even do it. So
and
here's
Steve Ditko in the back of the car talking about moral relativism.
He's like there is black and there's white. There's nothing between.
So Mike,
they're like, Steve, you want some fries with that burger? We're gonna stop and get them, and he's talking to him about the looter is stealing all of our production. Just get him a chocolate shake, ma'am. Just have a chocolate shake.
Danny D on YouTube said I'd pay good money to see D go fight a vampire.
Oh my god!
So Mike,
so someone needs to draw that.
So
we demand it, folks.
So Mike, here's my question. Let's say you had a famous uncle like Walt Disney or Steve Ditko or something. Wouldn't you feel guilty going against their wishes of doing something like this? What? I mean,
well,
yeah,
I would. I mean, but at the same time, though, if we had honored
with that fat paycheck,
but at the same time, though, if there's been things in the past where people haven't honored the wishes of certain writers, Blade, Steve Cross. Oh my god!
Someone,
I tell you, Danny D. I think you've won the
You've
prize
won
for
the
show
internet,
today.
dude.
Steve Ditko and his
Ditko and
amazing
his amazing friend.
I can see Steve Ditko pick up the phone, an old man in New York, and he's like, Blade, we got daywalkers. We got to roll.
We got
Morbius Ditko coming from Sony 2020. I'm dying. I'm dead.
more, Ditko supplies more. Ditko supplies Blade with all like here. I've
That's
got
the funniest damn thing I've heard. Steve Ditko is an amazing
Steve
friend.
Ditko, played by Chris Christopherson.
Hello, Space Command. This is Steve Ditko. I'm going to land the rocket now.
God.
Oh God. Oh. So George, you've got a famous relative. Would you print money against their wishes?
Me, no. No, money is not the central driving issue. The thing is, though, I mean, even in tight-knit families where everyone's close, the minute somebody dies, you'd be surprised about how south things go when money's involved.
Brad, you're trying to make us laugh.
No. JR, would you feel unethical doing this?
Well, I tell you,
or could you trick yourself into saying you want the legacy to continue so I can make money? I don't know.
Trick yourself.
I tell you what, if I decided to exploit a dead relative's legacy, I would certainly hire somebody to write it better than to make it sound sincere, because it doesn't sound sincere.
No,
it just depends. I mean, to be honest. There are some. I mean, I think the article referenced like Kafka burned some of his stuff, and there are a lot of writers who will destroy things. I mean, the creative mind is just a bit off center. I mean, in a way, I believe. So I have mixed feelings about that, because I think sometimes they just get so selfish that they don't realize that they've created something that other people enjoy. And sometimes I think even if they do enjoy it, I mean, if they do realize it, well, I mean, look how Roddenberry and Lucas or whatever, I mean, they create something that becomes really popular and then they almost immediately start to resent it, and it's like, so do we let these people, because of their own surliness and self-centeredness and petty jealousies, do we let them deprive the world, for their? So I kind of have mixed feelings, but like I said, I would hope I would sound a little bit less naked about it, I always, because nobody's buying the preserve the legacy thing.
Oh, Adam had a good point about how John Lennon trashed a lot of his Beatles stuff. That's what you were referencing, man. Vinkman says,
John Lennon was an asshole anyway. I mean, just typical,
Okay.
I think Adam sums it up best. The guys are up late and getting slap happy.
Yeah,
we're very much so, especially when we talk about Steve Ditko and his amazing friends.
Especially when half of our news is local news affiliates. Cops arrested some guy dressed like
Spider-Man.
But the benefit of having this new streaming program, I can now show video of the crazies.
I love how you basically did your.
I was about to say you're already showing videos of the crazies.
I don't know that that's a benefit
by the people you invite on the show. So
all right, let's go around the horn for final thoughts. Mike, final thoughts.
Well, there's a lot of comics that we probably won't be reading that are coming up.
Absolute Carnage.
Yeah, well, here's the thing. Absolute Carnage, it's not as bad as it sounds, actually. It's okay.
I haven't read issue 1 yet.
Really? Because it sounds dreadful.
It actually isn't. Actually, it's not. It's actually pretty decent. It's all, but then again, it's also got Ryan Stegman art, which is
good.
And I missed that. I like Ryan Stegman. I am pro Ryan Stegman. I just, I'm sorry.
It's just Venom. I know.
It's symbiote crap. It's
right.
So
well, it's another. I mean, what is it now? The symbiote planet wasn't really a planet of symbiotes. It was symbiotes stretching themselves to cover some evil god or something.
Yep.
I mean, it's like
Okay.
geez.
Oh,
It actually
What's-
makes
what's
a
the
lot
guy's
more.
name?
I think it almost like you want to say Kroll,
no,
but that's
or
the
null.
movie. But that's
Maybe
the
it's
movie.
null or
With
so-
but
I
that's
don't
the
know.
movie. With it's not. I
Yep.
don't want to or null. It's I want to. I think it's Kroll. Yeah, exactly.
Here,
I
let's
just
take a look. He's dead. Yep, he's dead, Jim. Let's check again for a pulse. Oh, it's back. He's back. He's back. There you go.
Now see, Brad, that
Yeah.
should be the image on YouTube. You know, like I don't know how like certain images get frozen on YouTube.
I know.
But, like,
I know.
That should be it. When anybody goes on YouTube to watch this video, that should be
It's
the image.
George
that should be the image.
Yeah. passed out. Here, hold on. Is this what you're talking about, JR?
Exactly.
Okay. All right. Final thoughts, JR. I can't say we've. I can't.
This old man's up too late. So
I never thought the Steve Ditko news would go to Elvis and Sinatra and him fighting vampires going to Vegas. I never thought we'd go
time
there.
for a smoke.
Oh my God.
Here, light it up, JR. Let me see it again. Hold
You
on.
probably need one in order to write the script for that movie.
Let me see this. This is JR's impression of George.
There's nothing more than the people on iTunes love than prop comics.
Oh my crap! You really did light it up. There's a burn mark on the end of the damn thing. Look at you. You're gonna start a fire. You better be careful, sir.
No, I've unplugged the fire detect the smoke alarm.
You rebel.
I've made the house less safe so I can pull off this gag effectively.
Oh my gosh, Adam.
I've endangered my family just so I can get a guffaw out of this cheeky gag. My house may go up like a tinderbox, but hey, it was funny. Broken JR. I've broken JR.
Oh,
God. Okay, where were we?
I'm told I'm going to have a heart attack. You're going to give me a heart attack.
We are goofy as hell. George, final thoughts.
I'll be asleep in 5 minutes.
Yeah.
YouTubers, thanks for watching. I hope you like the new style. We're gonna stick with this a little bit. I can direct it a little bit more. We can show some crazy criminals now on the.
God.
I can. I can
Again,
have video
just to point out, Brad
capabilities.
was literally going like this when he mentioned that.
I did. I'm just thinking of all.
He is so excited.
Actually,
you could just tell. He's subjecting us all with this.
Especially will be cool for the gift exchange at Christmas.
Oh,
that
yeah.
will be fun. Well, we can see the props a little bit more.
Yep.
That'd be fun. That's a wrap. Any YouTube 21 of you're gaining viewers. It's probably because JR needs to pass something, not a kidney stone. Oh, Enigma says I need a Ditko
signal.
Ditko
Yeah.
signal.
Yep.
The StreamYard thing is
StreamYard
pretty
thing is
slick.
pretty
Thank
slick,
you,
yeah.
Adam. I am enjoying it also. All right, boys. Should we call her or should we chat with them a little bit more?
That's good.
I'm ready to call it.
You're calling it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we should probably call it. I was about to say we could take a few more questions, but
How about 5 more minutes with the YouTubers since we got 21 of them?
okay.
All right, 5 minutes with you. Ask us anything. We're open for questions.
Yeah.
Shine a Steve Ditko light in the air, huh?
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah. Well, what would a Steve Ditko light be?
It's a silhouette of Ayn Rand,
Right.
like her short hair and her flat face, and just. And then
Wow.
Steve Ditko,
Yeah.
I've been summoned. I must go and tell someone there's only black and white.
Yep. Or no,
George-
or the card.
George,
The black and white card.
any plans when it comes out streaming to see Far From Home?
No.
You're never going to see that movie, huh? No.
Why would I? I mean, it's no. Why?
Okay.
Why would I?
Adam asked a good question.
What Marvel
Um,
movies are we most looking forward to?
Not a one.
No.
I saw that list on. That was an underwhelming.
Yeah.
Phase 4.
George,
is
you got
kinda-
Shang-Chi. Aren't you excited about Shang-Chi?
Shang-Chi's not a movie. Shang-Chi's a series on Disney
No.
Plus. He
No,
says
it's
No,
not.
I thought it was going to be. I thought it was.
No,
gonna
it's
be
a movie.
Oh, is
It's
it?
a movie.
Oh, I
Yeah.
thought it was
It's a movie where he goes up against the Mandarin. We're gonna Tony Stark's 10 Rings mystery is gonna be solved.
Wait. Like the real Mandarin or
The
like
real
Real
Mandarin.
Mandarin with the 10
Yeah.
rings. He's
okay,
going
so
up
this
against-
is them saying, yeah, we screwed up on the Mandarin here. We'll
Yeah.
fix that.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yep.
Very
That's-
well, yeah.
That's
When
good.
you-
That they can maybe replace the
Fu Manchu?
Mandarin with Fu. Yeah, they can replace Fu Manchu. In
I
his
don't have a
place
problem
and-
with that.
and Shang-Chi with the
No,
Mandarin. Yeah, I
absolutely
wouldn't have a
not.
problem
It
with that.
totally makes sense if that's
Um,
the direction they're going to go. Yeah.
I'm looking a little bit forward to the Black Widow movie. Jane Foster Thor has I have no interest in that.
What
so-
about Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness?
No, because they
Oh, you don't. He doesn't like the Doctor Strange.
Yeah, he doesn't like
Right.
it. I know you don't like. Yeah, that's right.
However,
No.
the new rumor in the Black Widow movie is at the end because Taskmaster is the villain.
Mhm.
And that Taskmaster at the after credit scene is in a bar, and Ryan Reynolds' Deadpool comes up and has a drink with him. I think that would be cool.
I wouldn't doubt that at all.
Yeah.
I wouldn't doubt that at
Good.
all.
Right. 'Cause, I mean, but yeah, because you got to because I mean I don't think because I think the thing is they're trying to put it for because if they're kind of waiting to put like the X-Men and Fantastic Four for a Phase 5 or something. If that's kind of
That
the
needed to
rumor
be
right
their
now.
Phase 4 because their Phase
Yeah.
4 is looking pretty weak.
It
I mean,
is,
like-
yeah, it legitimately does.
It-
I think
it-
there's
it-
another.
it
I think
is
there's
kinda
another
underwhelming.
Spider-Man movie in Phase 4. I think 2021 we're going to get our next Spidey movie.
I'm excited about Blade. We'll see what they do with Blade.
Well, yeah,
Yeah.
that Blade's but I mean,
What do you
that's
think
not
of
until,
Wesley Snipes as Dracula? That's the new rumor.
Okay,
I don't think I like it, but
I wouldn't hate it. I mean, I liked Wesley Snipes. Having him in would be kind of a, kind of
nice
a
little nod.
nice little nod. I don't. I mean, the historic Dracula. Obviously, there would be. There's a little. There's a difference with like Wesley Snipes playing a, middle ages or middle ages nobleman.
Romanian, yeah.
Romanian, yeah.
Yeah.
But whatever. it is what it is.
Yeah.
It's comics. I don't. I mean, Jack Palance is dead. They can't get him to play.
oh, that'd be a
Oh,
great
yeah.
Dracula.
Oh my God, that would have been.
Adam's pissed we never got a Captain America Taskmaster fight. That'd be a
That
great
is
one.
true.
That'd be
is
good.
really true.
Or an Avengers Taskmaster fight. I mean, Avengers is somebody who can take on a whole team of Avengers. He's done it
Mhm.
before.
Mhm.
That's cool.
Yep.
What's the other film coming out? We got Doctor Strange. We got Shang-Chi. We got Black Widow.
The Eternals.
The Eternals. What do you think of
Ooh,
Eternals?
Yeah, we'll see. Because here's the thing. I mean, I remember at a point where they were like, "Hey, we're bringing in the Inhumans," and everybody was like, "Oh,
Oh,
cool!" And then
gosh.
suddenly that turned into a
Well,
shit show. So
well, George. The plus of that is Scott is what's that guy that did the
Scott
that
Buck?
Scott Buck is going to be probably nowhere near this.
is he going to be at the Hague being tried for war crimes?
God. Yeah, having ruined 2 Marvel properties, that's his credit.
I like the Eternals. They say they're going to Kirby it up, which means to me that means they're going to try to make it woke.
Yeah,
and it won't look anything like it'll be like visually it'll look like Kirby. It'll have nothing else to do with any of the Kirby characters. I like the Eternals. I don't trust Marvel anymore.
I have
Hmm.
no connection
don't.
to the Eternals at all. I never read the.
Oh, I
the
love the Eternals.
the Kirby
Oh,
stuff.
yeah.
The only Eternal that I know that I kind of like is Cersei from the Avengers run back in the
Yeah.
'90s. So I like Cersei, but
Yeah,
and-
I'm not very well versed on the Eternals lore or anything like that. I mean, because the idea is supposed to be what they're supposed to be kind of like the basis for the gods of mythology or something like that. Is that what they
There.
is?
Okay, so yes, there were actually gods. Like there's actually like the Greek god pantheon exists in the Marvel universe.
Right.
But after a while, they kind of faded away. And then these beings that were genetically modified by the Eternal or by the Celestials, pardon me,
Right.
who tinkered with early humans and made the Eternals and the Deviants.
Okay.
They started to get worshipped as the Greek gods
Okay.
just because they were so powerful. That's why
Right.
one of them's named Athena.
Yep.
But I always did enjoy the Eternals. I always.
Yeah, and it does. Yeah, I can totally see sounds like the Kirby New Gods kind of aspect to it. I think a lot, very much but the Eternals came out before the New Gods, if I'm right, correct?
I don't know. I think after. We're talking 75-ish. I was born.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
What do you think of the Disney Plus TV shows? You gotta want to watch WandaVision.
On the one hand, yes. On the other hand, no, because I hear it's supposed to be like a reworking of House of M, and House of M can kiss every square inch of my ass.
Yeah, the thing that ruined the X-Men franchise
sounds like an '80s David Cronenberg movie.
So I don't know. I mean, if it was if Vision winds up coming back because of it, I would be happy.
Well,
but I don't know.
You got the Loki series too, which I guess is supposed to be going to be him palling around in alternate continuities or something like that.
And Falcon and Winter Soldier. And
I'm like, not so much. You don't like that one?
I mean, I don't dislike. I would see it if it was a movie.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And the thing is, I didn't even like Winter Soldier in the comic book. I was like, Bucky should be dead.
See,
I looked at Bucky the same way I look at Jason Todd. You should be dead.
See, the other thing is too is about because if they're trying to do it on the Disney Plus service stuff, I mean, you can't really take all the Netflix stuff that like Daredevil and Jessica Jones and all that and Luke Cage and all that stuff and put it in this thing, can you?
No.
No, and that's probably a good thing because that started off really strong and fizzled out like a bad fart, boy.
Yeah.
The big turn was Iron Fist. After Iron Fist came out, it all went south.
Here's the thing. After Iron Fist, I didn't watch anything else. I didn't watch the next season of Punisher.
It was good.
I didn't watch or the first
Punisher
season of Punisher.
Season 2 was kind of.
I didn't watch.
Take it or leave it.
I didn't even watch the first season of Punisher.
Really?
That came after Iron Fist. Everything Iron Fist was the last thing I saw.
I'd recommend both seasons of Punisher. Also, the last season of Daredevil I thought was solid.
Yeah, the last season of Daredevil,
especially
was
with
good.
The Kingpin stuff, was great.
Yeah, and they actually brought in, and they actually did a pretty interesting take on Bullseye.
I wish they would have had one more season to build up Bullseye more.
Well, yeah, but the other thing is too, and also at least though with the Jessica Jones, at least they actually kind of had a finale to it.
Oh.
Because
I haven't seen season 2 or 3 of Jessica Jones. I need to watch that.
Just season 3 gets kind of interesting, especially if you are a Hellcat fan.
Yeah,
I liked Luke Cage the first season, but there's nothing in me that wants to. Was there a second season on? I don't even.
There was a second season.
There was a second
Luke Cage
season.
actually becomes the King of Harlem.
See, because after Iron Fist, everything was so bad, I just stopped.
Yeah.
I didn't even watch Defenders. I didn't watch anything. I was like, Scott Buck ruined the Netflix Marvel stuff for me. Scott, he destroyed my taste for it because Iron Fist was so incredibly rotten.
Oh, it was.
There's talk of that Doctor Strange movie having Nightmare as the villain. What do you think of that? And who would make a good Nightmare actor?
Ooh, the guy that plays Penguin on Gotham.
Oh,
he's pretty good. I can see that.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
JR, you signing up for Disney Plus streaming? You gonna go get it for $5 a month?
Oh,
$6.99, please.
If you buy it for a year, it's $5 a month.
Yeah, I'm not buying that for a year.
Yeah. I'm gonna buy it right after I sign up for CBS All Access.
I signed up for CBS All Access to watch Discovery season 2. It's good. You're not gonna sign up to watch Picard?
Oh no,
Picard looks great.
No, they look.
Aren't they doing reshoot on Picard?
I like Patrick Stewart. I like Patrick Stewart, but boy, he sounded every bit of the 80-year-old man he is in that trailer. And then it involves a. You could tell it involves a super child, who's obviously going to be some kind of wonderful. The
rumor for that is it's going to be Locutus and the Borg Queen's daughter. Like maybe they had a kid on that episode.
What?
I'm done.
What?
She doesn't even have the parts for that. How is she going to have a kid?
Well, resistance is futile.
Oh, are they going to do that?
She was just
do you
shoulders
take the
and a head.
DNA from both of them and combine them into one person?
I don't know.
Oh god!
What do you just put it in a blender? That's
No,
not how DNA works.
Is this going to be like a Synchon thing all over again, like in Star Trek? Oh, God.
Would you sign up for Star Trek Kirk, George, with Shatner?
Shit, you're like 85 years old, Brad. What the hell are you talking about?
Oh my God.
JR's
He's
thinking
he's
about it. If he's
88
going to
years
put
old,
it
if
with
he's
Paul
close.
Wilson.
No,
I love William
CBS All
Shatner.
Access. No, CBS
No, see,
All
I'm not-
Access is not worth wiping your ass with. Forget it. You know, not
Simpatico.
Not-
Discovery's good, though. I like Discovery.
no. Well, that says more about you than anything else. I mean, they posted a free episode on Yahoo once, and the only reason I sat through it was because I wanted to see the guy who played Pike. But honestly, the first half hour, it was
Pike does such a good
unwatchable.
job.
It was
So get this.
Whenever
Get
they
this.
focus on Michael Burnham, it is unwatchable.
JR.
When they focus on that character, it is unwatchable.
So the actor that Zach is in the house. What's up, Zach?
Hey.
He got off work. We've been on the air so damn long. The actor who plays Pike played Black Bolt in the Inhumans show, and he nails Pike, and also
Oh, that's why he looked familiar.
the actor
He nails number one as well.
Rebecca Romaine is number one and looks exactly like Mrs. Roddenberry. Looks great. I would love a Pike series. I think they did such a good job in Discovery with them. But
Not paying for streaming. Not paying for it.
do you have Netflix though?
No, I don't.
Oh hell, you dropped that too? Are you
I
still?
never had it. No, we used our daughter's code. My daughter's code. Yeah, I don't-
All right. On that note, I think we should call it. Zach, we missed you. This was a fun one. Wait till you see the Ditko, Sinatra,
Oh my
and
God.
Elvis getting in a car to go to Vegas to fight vampires called Ditko and his amazing friends. Absolutely one of the weirdest conversations
Weirdest
we've ever had.
tangents we've ever had on this.
That
show.
was weird.
Yeah.
Boys, it's been fun. YouTubers,
Yep.
it's been fun. We've consistently had 20 people this whole time, so you guys are awesome to do this. So.
Yep. Okay.
George, here's a tease. George and I are going to do this Saturday. Hell, it's already Saturday at 8:30 Saturday night. We're going to do 2 fight clubs that we missed a couple weeks ago because of internet problems. And JR has said he will come on and take over your show again, George. So if you
He may need to because I may be exhausted by the time we get around to doing it.
real quick, George, give him a tease of the issues on Fight Club. We're going to review for August and September.
I'm not going to give you the issues.
All right, screw it. All right,
But we're gonna have Dr. Octopus and Craven there.
ASM 209 and Spec
What?
1.
Don't
I just said
ruin
I'm
it,
not
Brad.
going to give him the issues, and you're.
Oh, I thought you forgot them.
No, I
Oh, you were holding back
told him the
information.
JR earlier for crying out loud.
Sorry, I messed up. All right.
That's
It's time
like-
for bed, Brad.
that's-
Come on.
That's like Brad reading on air when I texted him saying, "Don't tell anyone this.
Don't tell anyone. that
I'm coming on. Don't tell anybody." Oops.
All right. Good night, everybody. We're done. All right. Let me hit
All
the
right.
end of the broadcast.
Good night, Brad.
Fellas,
Good night,
that was
guys.
fun. That was fun.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yep.
Mhm.
All right. And ending my broadcast. It'll take a
All right.
minute.
All right. See you guys later.
See you, buddy.
All right.
See ya.
Oh, good night.
Good night. I'm still trying to stop it.